Welcome to Adam Does Movies Live. It's Tuesday, as always, and here we are for a final goodbye, farewell studio live stream Q&A. It's kind of sad, bittersweet, of course. This is going to be the last time I film in this room. It's done me good this year. 2 years I've been in this little studio that I've built. There's foam padding on all the walls you can't see. I got a nice little monitor in the background, shelf. That's all going to change because come this Friday, I am moving a whole 4 blocks down the road. We sold this house because we never liked this house. We bought it 2 years ago, a little over 2 years ago, because we wanted to get out of Minnesota. It was cold, it was miserable. We needed to change. We hit our peak midlife crisis at the time, post-COVID. My day job, my real job, is I can work anywhere as a developer and front-end designer. And I actually had been remote for many years prior to that horrible pandemic. So I was like, let's just do it. Let's make a change. Let's make a move. And so we did. We had to lock into this house because it was all that was available in this beautiful community that we really liked. So now that we have some equity in it, we're like, all right, now's the time. Let's sell this bad boy and let's rent for a year. That was not initially part of the plan. We wanted to buy something again, but the houses just weren't right. And I'm not entirely sure I'm sold on South Carolina yet, 2 years in. My kids have a lot of friends, though. They're putting down some good roots here. So we don't want to uproot them again. But yeah, it's just kind of a tricky situation to balance. So we're giving ourselves 1 year in the rental, and then we're going to kind of figure things out a little further. Plus, it's going to allow us to save some money, to put down in another house, to travel, to do whatever. So it's like the responsible adult thing to do. Anyway, this is the last time the set's going to be seen by me. You'll see it a couple more times because I filmed a few more videos in here that will go out the rest of the week. One's going to be on movies for new generations and how it's not really a thing anymore. It's kind of sad, but kids, I'd say like 4 years old and younger, are growing up with remakes, sequels, prequels, and nothing really original, at least in the family space. There's still tons of new content coming out and unique first-time stories, but nothing really geared towards kids. They don't have their own Ghostbusters or Back to the Future or Goonies or Sandlot. And that's okay. It's just kind of sad to me as someone who grew up with movies being a very important part. For new generations, they have YouTube. Funny enough, they get to see content creators putting out unique stuff there. TikTok, Instagram, just a lot of streaming services. It's just a different ballgame now. And it's weird kind of occupying the space that my parents at one point did when they were 40. Looking back, going, things were different in my time. Preamble aside, that's what's going on. I guess I don't need my Adam Does Movies tagline up here right now. Hello? I'm choppy? Well, of course I am. Lindsay said, my wife said I'm choppy and there's nothing I can do about it. I guess that's just fitting for a final live stream to just have it go to shit. I do see that my bars are a little bit all over the place. There's nothing I can do about the Wi-Fi, unfortunately. But anyway, I'll just say this. Super chats are appreciated. They're the name of the game. This is an AM, Ask Me Anything, AMA. Yeah, or a Q&A, if you will, a question and answer. Doesn't have to be a super chat, but I would appreciate it if it was. So let's just chat for a while. And hopefully I can build a new studio before next Tuesday in my much smaller house. I don't know how this is going to work. It's going to be a shit show. Oh, what a bummer. Okay, let's get some questions. Anybody got anything? Super chats, of course, are nice, but give me what you got. Lucifer asks, this is the first one that showed up. You think Wicked will be the #1 hit this summer? No, I don't. But I don't really know. Like, I'm not good at predicting what's going to be a hit. I do think Deadpool and Wolverine is going to clean up at the box office. I think Joker 2 is going to underperform. just because I think it's been a couple years too long. The riding of that popularity is gone, I think, on Joker, and there's just less people going to the movies, so they're really going to be a lot more stingy with what they spend their money on. I think Deadpool and Wolverine is going to be an easy win, though. As far as Wicked, you got a musical; those don't typically sell that well for mainstream audiences. I know it's popular; it's a Broadway thing. I think it's going to do okay. I don't think it's going to do great though. But again, I'm terrible with predictions. Let's see. Alex Douthright, do you like slasher movies? Yeah, I've talked about slashers. I guess it depends on how much of a slasher you're talking. Do you mean a Freddy, a Nightmare on Elm Street, or something more like Hostel, Saw, or I guess I'm not sure what you categorize as a slasher. Scream is kind of a slasher, isn't it? Um, yeah, I like all movies for the most part. There's always going to be some. I don't really lean towards slasher as my go-to genre, but I will absolutely watch them when they come around. Like Thanksgiving, I really dug. I thought that was a fun movie. I don't shy away from the gore. I like I'm spacing on the name because I'm exhausted right now, but the clown movies with art. Those are fun movies. Terrifier 1 and 2. I'm excited for Terrifier 3. Brian Davis for $2 shot out of a cannon with the first super of the night. Want to play a game, Adam? I should have done the voice more. Want to play a game, Adam? Yes or no? It's a jigsaw right there. I appreciate that, Brian. Kyle Nelson says, "What's a better Netflix original, Uncut Gems or The Irishman?" I go Uncut Gems all day. You know how I feel about a long movie. The Irishman, that's tough to get through. It's like a 4-hour tour. I think The Irishman would have worked better had they broken it up into 35, 40-minute episodes. Or just do a full-on Breaking Bad. Scorsese edition would have been really cool. But Uncut Gems was solid. It was an easy watch. Adam Sandler, putting in some acting there, putting in some work. I appreciated it. Thank you, Kyle. Oh yeah. Also, is that even Uncut Gems is A24, isn't it? That's not really a Netflix original. Maybe that was a trap. EJ Rich, do you have any faith in Disney at this point? As far as the movies go, no. I'm pretty much done with their movie. When Bob Iger came out and basically said, "Hey, we're tripling down on sequels and remakes of live action films," what are we supposed to say to that other than, "Oh, cool, you're looking for ways to just make money and nothing else"? It's not about telling a unique, fun story. It's not about capturing a new audience. It's just about the status quo and getting money into the company. So we get Frozen 3, Inside Out 2, live action Moana, live action everything that they can think of doing. It's just a bummer. Live action Lilo and Stitch is coming. Who the hell wanted that? Live action Hercules is coming. Although I did see a rumor that Dua Lipa might play Meg, or they're looking at Dua Lipa for Meg in a live action Hercules. I might be on board if that's the case. Brian Davis for $2. Actual question: brave enough? Sure, Brian. I'm up for it. Hit me with what you have. Rob K, are you on the HTM month end wrap up this Thursday? The Hack the Movies monthly wrap up? No, I kind of stopped doing those because Tony refuses to move the day. I go to new movies every Thursday. I go to 2 movies now. Last Thursday I did Stupid Garfield and Furiosa, which I thought was excellent. I can't remember what I saw the week before, but I've been going to 2 movies back to back, and Tony does his live stream at 8 or something stupid. Like he's an old man who can't stay up later than that. I don't know. Also, I told him I like my Tony time, and sometimes there's too many cooks in the kitchen over there on Hack the Movies. He'll have 5 or 6 guest hosts on, and I'm like dad trying to calm everyone down. I look pissed on there. That's just my resting bitch face. But yeah, it's just kind of a mess. I need it more one-on-one. We'll definitely do more stuff together, but it's going to be more intimate with Tony. So no, I won't be on the wrap ups unless he's going to change the day and calm down with the guest hosts. And I like all the guest hosts, by the way. I love all of them, but there's too many. All right, what do we got? Kyle Nelson, what's a worse rebrand, X or Meta? Uh, well, is Meta is that the name of Facebook now? Or isn't Meta the parent company and Facebook is still underneath? Kind of like how Google is Alphabet. Alphabet has Google, but then they have Chrome and all those other things. I thought that's what Meta was, but I've actually been locked out of my Facebook account for I don't even know how many months. Well, once on Instagram, it said, hey, you have a whole bunch of new notifications. And I clicked and they locked me out because someone stole my identity or something. I don't know. I just couldn't be bothered to figure it out. If you try to get your account back, Facebook has no way of helping you out. It's absolutely insane. They'll say, someone hijacked your account. What do you do now? No idea. No idea. They don't have a number for you to call. They don't have an email of support. You're just screwed. And I'm okay with that. Facebook kind of sucks. So I walked away from the whole thing. X is the worst rebrand, I believe, of all time. When you walk away from a company that has in the fucking dictionary tweet, because you tweet it out, what are you doing anymore? The brand, that's like walking away from Google. That's like walking away from Nike or renaming McDonald's to the letter T. It's just so stupid. It makes no sense. Mr. Flickster says, I'm looking forward to Inside Out 2. Yeah, it could be good. Inside Out 1 is damn near perfect. It's a brilliant film. One of those movies that works absolutely wonderfully for both kids and adults alike. There's layer to that film. I'm just kind of bummed that they even thought they needed to do one, because the first one's kind of a self-contained story. It makes perfect sense. It's going to be hard. I'll just say that much. Not impossible. I'm just going down the line here at the questions. I'm not like cherry picking any, but if you want your question read for sure, super chat. Sean Strange, Jason Voorhees, I can never say his name, Voorhees versus Art the Clown, who wins? They're both basically unkillable, as far as I can tell, because Jason just keeps dying and coming back. I'm going to go with Jason's mom from the first movie. I think Jason's mom could take both of them pretty easily. She was one strong bitch. I don't have a real answer for you. Moving again, David Shellacker giving me busting my chops, David, busting my chops again. Yeah, that's what we do. We move, we grow, we change, we adapt. Adapt, react, readapt, apt, or whatever Michael Scott says. Not really a question, Eli, but he demands top 5 favorite movies of the decade so far. So top 5 movies in the last 4 years. If I'm doing my decades right, that's every 10. Well, I guess we just go back to, the last 10 years, I guess would take us way back. I was going by, for some reason, I was starting to like the year 2000 to 2010, 2010 to 2020, and now we're at 220 to 224. That's not what you meant. Okay, I don't fucking know. 10 years? That's a long time. I can barely remember what I watched last week. I would say, I don't know why I clicked on this, Eli. I have no idea how to answer this question. It's too hard. I would have to go back to really figure it out. Why is the stream such a shit show? I could honestly, I don't think I could tell you my top 5 from this year right now. Furiosa, I would put on there. This has been a horrible year for movies so far, but Furiosa, Dune 2, Civil War, the Iron Claw from last year. Shit. If you really want to know that, Eli, you can just look at my top 10 video from 2024, 2023, I guess. I have a top 10 movies from 2023. I have a top 10 movies from 2022. I don't know if I go any further back than that, but I definitely have the last 2 years. Austin Nichols or Nicholas says, "Hey Adam, glad I caught one of your live streams." Yeah, Austin, I've seen you in the comments from time to time. I appreciate you jumping on, and obviously you're getting the best of the live streams possible. I'm glitching out like crazy, is what I've heard. Let me look. Let me see what it looks like on your guys' end, because on my end it's just picture perfect, of course. Let's see what the live stream looks like. Oh, it's just straight up frozen. Oh, that's horrible. I mean, it's trying to keep up, but it's just not having it. And there's nothing I can do. Total eclipse of the heart. I'm trying to see if anything is sucking energy from the computer, but I just don't see anything. No Country for Old Men or Beauty and the Beast, says Ledger Forever. What? Those are so different. But I always go Beauty and the Beast. Tale as old as time. Skitty dee dee. This is like a freaking book report by Dane. Quick and the Dead was my 1000th movie watch, so thanks for that recommendation. Have you seen Thunderheart with Val Kilmer? I just watched it, thought you'd enjoy it. I've never even heard of Thunderheart. And the Thunderheart is about to burst, and the quest for answers. I've not seen it, but thank you for the recommendation. Short for recommendation. Chango says, Adam wants to get intimate with Tony. I'm not going to argue that. Perm says, good luck with the move. For what it's worth, this was a good setup. Thank you, Perm. A tear. It was a good setup besides the fact that it's glitching out like crazy tonight. It's like my internet provider, who sucks ass, knows that I'm almost out of here. So they're just slowly, they're turning off the internet, powering it down. Unless it's my Mac that's just, for some reason, having a hard time. Let me close programs down. Oh, I still do. You know what? I still have fucking Microsoft Teams running from a meeting this morning. Maybe that's part of the problem. That would be so nice if closing that out just quickly enhanced everything. It won't, but that would be awesome. I'm closing programs like it's my job. My God. So many things open right now. It's taking away bandwidth, people. All right, I closed a bunch of stuff. Maybe that will increase the quality. Alex Dothright, who survives if you, Joey Sassu, Sean, and Cody are locked in a mansion with Abigail? I think Joey dies instantly. The guy is a loose cannon. He's a wild card, and he just doesn't seem like he's built for that type of situation. Sean, I think, is the next to go because he's a gentle soul. He has a gentle heart. He'd probably try to reason with Abigail. Abigail jumps on him. It's game over. Cody and I is a mixed bag. I think we're maybe the most kind of in tune with each other, but I'm gonna give it to Cody. I'm gonna say Cody outlasts me, and it's only because I think Cody's gonna use me as a human shield. He's gonna trick me. He's gonna bait Abigail in, and that's how he's gonna escape over my lifeless husk. I think Cody's like that. Brian Davis for $5. For $25 super chat, choose door 1. What is that? What is he's dangling cash between a picador? For $25 super chat, choose door 1, door 2, or door 3. I will put what is behind each door in the chat to show I'm not cheating. Choose wisely. Well, can I just look at the chat? Can I just cheat and look at the chat? I'm going to go, since I am number 1 in Brian's eyes, I'm going to go with number 1. I'm saying number 1, final answer. Can I phone a friend? Can I use a lifeline? I see a powerful super chat in here. I got to go to the super chat holder. Holy crap. EJ Rich for a gorgeous $100 super chat. Can we do something with this? That's awesome. Thank you so much. We got to get some fireworks. Scamp. Oh, it failed. Get some fireworks. What the hell is happening? Everything's broken today. Sorry, I tried to do fireworks and a thumbs up. None of it's probably showing up correctly anyways. EJ Rich says, here's to your new studio, buddy. Good luck. Do me a favor. Please realize that Force Awakens sucks. It's lazy and it ruins Return of the Media. Well, EJ, listen. Force Awakens, I think, sucks because of what comes after. I think Force Awakens could have been heralded as a brand new, beautiful beginning. Does it basically carbon copy what came before? Of course it does, but it rhymes. It's poetry or whatever the bullshit is that George Lucas said back in the day. It just so happens that The Last Jedi blew so much ass, in my opinion, that The Force Awakens is inconsequential now. Bad, good, doesn't matter. I will never watch it again. I have no desire to watch it again because it leads to absolute disappointment. And that's where I'll leave it. It could have honestly been a great, fun movie that leads to something truly special. But as it stands, it does not. Thank you very much for this super chat. I really appreciate it. We got one from King Cold for $2. Humans are petty. A billionaire is not above that. That's true, King Cold. It's very wise words. Thank you for the $2. Appreciate it. And Mr. Flickster for $5. Beautiful. How much is it to request a roast? The roast price has gone up substantially. It is $100 on Patreon. That's the unobtainium tier. You don't have to stay on the tier. You just have to do it once if you want. But that's where things are at. There's just been too much shenanigans at that $30 mithril level. I wasn't able to keep up. The movie requests were, I don't really even know how to put it lightly. They were shit. Not all of them. Not all of them. But some of them were just really out there, and it actually hurt my channel whenever I did them. So I had to pump up the payment. So it's $100 to get a movie roast request. And I left it at that. Okay, what do we got here? Going back to the regular Pilgrim comments. Salty16, what are your top 5 favorite Christopher Nolan movies? 5 you think everyone needs to watch. He doesn't have like a ton of movies. I feel like 5 is probably half of them, right? He has Memento, which I don't think that's his first movie, but that's the first one I'm familiar with of his. I think he did 1 or 2 prior. He's got Memento, he's got Prestige, he's got Batman or The Dark Knight, Batman Begins, and The Dark Knight Rises. So that's 5. He's got Interstellar, Inception, Dunkirk, Tenet, and Oppenheimer. I might have missed 1 or 2 in between there, but I think Interstellar is a must. I think Inception is a must. I think The Prestige is phenomenal. I don't really care so much about any of the Batman movies, although they're all very fun and cool in their own way. Oppenheimer isn't like Oppenheimer is just from a like a filmmaker standpoint perfect, but from a story and all that, not so much. Where I'm actually watching Oppenheimer right now with my wife. She hasn't seen it, so we're halfway done. We did half last night. We're gonna do the other half. It's a 3-hour movie. So yeah, I would say Prestige, Interstellar, Inception. Mm, I guess The Dark Knight, and fuck. I guess Oppenheimer. I guess Oppenheimer just for movie buffs. I would say that Memento's fine. It's good. I kind of saw that twist coming though halfway through the movie. I love Dunkirk too. I really do like Dunkirk a lot, but I'm gonna say Oppenheimer over Dunkirk. The Matt's channel. Where do you think Koba ranks amongst the best villains? I think Koba is a fantastic villain from Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. I don't know if I'd put him in a top 20. It depends on what we're because I mean comedy villains are what I really love. The Shooter McGavins, Ben Stiller's played several funny comedic villains. You got Mugatu in Zoolander. You got Dr. Evil in Austin Powers. You have Rick Moranis as Dark Helmet. I could come up with probably 20 comedic villains that I think are my favorite. But then you have Voldemort, you have Darth Vader, you have Darth Maul, even is a pretty cool, not top 10, but he's not in the tops. He just looks cool. There's a lot of villains. Plus, we have the horror side of things. You have Jason, Michael Myers, Ghostface. Koba is really well done in Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, but is he a top echelon villain outside of the apes films? No, I don't think so. No one's really looking back and remembering Koba. Nobody's dressing up as Koba for Halloween. Let's put it that way. Great question, though. He is a fantastic villain. Ledger Forever says my favorite Christopher Nolan film is The Prestige, and you're a good man for that. The Prestige is top 3 for me as well. Phil, not really a question, says my biggest issue with Force Awakens is the stupid map to Luke. I don't know how you write a story around that which makes sense. Yeah, Phil Stinger. Yeah, the map was like broken into pieces, right? I thought the idea initially was to get the map kind of assembled once they had this new Jedi to get trained. I think was the loose concept behind it. So, Rey shows up, we're able to get the map constructed, and now we go to Luke because we have his protege or something. But again, it's J.J. Abrams. He likes these mystery boxes, and I don't think he really plans ahead that much, which is why Lost became a complete clusterfuck by the 3rd season. Yeah. I mean, it was kind of a clusterfuck from day one, but still, it was I was on for the ride. David Schlacker says The Prestige, Inception, The Dark Knight, Oppenheimer, and Interstellar. I think that's exactly what I said. Maybe you were just quoting me back in a more understandable way. Brian Davis for $5. Door 1 was Sing the Song You Wrote for Taylor Swift on your Adam Rants exclusive on Patreon. Excellent pick. Thank you, Brian. I appreciate that. Okay, let's see what we got here. Bishop Walter says, Adam, do you think edgy R-rated comedies like American Pie or Tropic Thunder return before the decade is over? I think a major shift in culture is coming, and most people are sick of the PC bullshit. Um, no, I mean, no, because I think movie theaters are having a hard time getting people to go. So a hard R raunchy movie comedy is not going to put people in the theaters. Now, if you're counting streaming services, sure, but I don't think raunchy comedies have really left that space. There are some really intense stuff on, I mean, just look at The Boys. There was a season where a person shrunk themselves down and went inside of a guy's dick and blew it up from the inside. That's pretty raunchy ass humor, if you ask me. That's some pretty dark comedy. They do some sick stuff on that show. Curb Your Enthusiasm still pushes the envelope. South Park absolutely still pushes the envelope. You have Always Sunny in Philadelphia. There are raunchy comedies and I'd say more vulgar comedies that are on cable and on streamers. And there are movies too. It's just no one cares to watch them. But they are making them, just nobody gives a shit. There was that Runaway Dolls movie, which was originally called Runaway Dykes, but they didn't think they could get that passed to go to theaters. That movie was atrociously bad, but you want to talk about a raunchy R-rated comedy, that definitely was. It just unfortunately wasn't funny. They're making them, people just aren't paying attention to them because I think, I don't know, the landscape has changed. So until people are really back in a mindset where the culture does kind of move back to that, we're just not going to see it be popular. And I don't think we're going to see it in the theaters. I would be hard pressed to say movie theaters are even going to be around in the way they are in 10 years. And that gives me a lot of pause. That makes me sad. But just based on anecdotal evidence, going to movie theater all the time and seeing nobody in there ever, it's a ghost town, and seeing how these big movies are failing to make profits, either Hollywood has to scale way back and start making a lot smaller movies, which I think they are going to start doing. But they also got to find a way to get people to go to the movies, which means cutting that ticket price down and not making a drink for a soda $8. And I know that's how the theaters make their profit. So it's just not a good situation we're in. Those are my 2 cents. Perm for $20. Thank you, Perm. Shot out of a fucking cannon. Here's a super chat to put in the Wi-Fi meter. Also, here's a question. What superpower would you choose? That is hard. That's tough. I have a lot of there's a lot of things that kind of go with that question. Impervious to damage would be a pretty awesome one, but I'd want to be able to I'd like kind of pair that with live forever sort of a situation, almost a Fountain of Youth-esque scenario where I'm impervious to death and I don't age. Is that counted as one? Because I'm of the belief or lack thereof that when you're gone, you're gone. And I want to enjoy life. I want to enjoy being here amongst the living. If that's not on the table, I guess I would be more maybe just like super smart. I know I'm already so close to it, but super genius levels. Because with that, you could do a lot of things. You could make yourself physically stronger. You could, you could calculate all these different things out. You could play it out, but yeah, I don't know. I guess it's a fair question, but it's not one I have a definitive answer for. Thank you, Perm. I appreciate that. Mr. Flickster says, I prefer Tarot over The Strangers Chapter 1. Yeah, I think I agree with you. They're both terrible, though. So it's like a turd sandwich or a turd sundae at the end of that day. Ice Storm. How do you feel about the last Matrix? This is a joke, right? You're pulling my chain? I feel like I got a lot of new subs this last 2 years based on the amount of bitching I did about Matrix 4, Matrix regurgitations. That movie is that movie's my 9/11. That movie's nightmare fuel. I hate that movie. It's my Pearl Harbor. It's all the bad events in history wrapped into one film. That's the Matrix to me. The Matrix 4. I love the Matrix. I also really enjoy Matrix 2 and 3, even though they definitely take a backseat to the first one. The trilogy is completed in my mind. This fourth thing is an abomination to mankind. It does not exist in my books. It's a parody of itself. What you know what frustrates me more than anything else? Thank you for getting me on this topic. There's these assholes that still show up in my comments that go, "Oh my God, nobody here understands that Lana Wachowski did this on purpose. She intentionally made the movie bad." Okay, cool. Should I like it now? It's if you're admitting that the movie sucks, it doesn't become cleverly good because of it. It still sucks. Oh, look at the meta commentary on display. How brilliant. It's up its own ass. It doesn't matter. The fighting's still trash. It still looks awful. I don't even know how to respond to that. I don't even know how to respond to that. That's like doing a book report and all you put on it is fuck you. And then you have 50 blank pages and you hand it to the teacher and you're like, this is the best I could do. And then you wink at him like you made some sort of a brilliant social commentary on something. And he's like, oh, I see what you did. Well done. I asked for 50 pages and you gave me 50 pages, but you titled it fuck you because you know what you're doing. You know what you did. Well done. Freaking stupid movie. I hate that movie. Now I'm upset. David Schalacker, I might be one of 5 people on the planet who unironically enjoys the Star Wars sequel trilogy. Why? Because I do. I find the movies fun. The Rise of Skywalker made me feel like a kid again. David, I'm going to back you up to an extent. The J.J. Abrams movies, not the Rian Johnson one, although I think Rian Johnson is a great filmmaker and storyteller, just not for Star Wars. I think the new trilogy is easily the prettiest of the trilogies, as it should be. It is the most modern. It has the luxuries of all modern CG and technical feats that only it could achieve now. I think production-wise, these are really good movies. The Last Jedi, probably the best of the 3 as far as the visual representation. The story just kills it all. But even that said, I enjoyed Force Awakens. I still enjoy Force Awakens. I just don't ever want to watch it again because it leads into such a shitty story. Rise of Skywalker, I remember going to that movie with no expectations. I already was done. I was out. And so when I watched it, I had a good time with it because it didn't matter. It's like, hey, I just had the stomach flu. Now I'm going to go get some McDonald's. At this point, nothing matters. I purged everything out, and now whatever is coming into my stomach is still going to make me feel a little bit fulfilled because I haven't eaten anything in 24 hours. I need some sustenance. I will put bottom of the barrel in here, and it's still going to have an effect on me. And so, yeah, Rise of Skywalker is a complete shit show. It's laughably stupid how Palpatine comes back. I actually joked about that. If you play back the tape, one of my Han Solo videos, I don't know which one it is, but I reviewed Solo. It could have been the spoiler one, but I said towards the end, because Darth Maul shows up randomly at the end of Solo, and it's so stupid. But I said in there, oh, what's next? We gonna like fucking grab Palpatine out of space, dust him off, put him in a hover chair, and have him float around. That's what they did. That's what they did. Oh, it's so stupid. But yeah, they're watchable because they look pretty. They have likable characters. I think Rey is a treat. I think Daisy Ridley is such a likable protagonist. It's just she doesn't really have much of an arc at all. She doesn't know who her parents are. That's not really that interesting, especially when you find out who they are. Everyone else just kind of is stock. Poe gets demoted. Finn, we don't even need to talk about how poorly they handled that character. And then you have BB-8, who's just this cutesy ball rolling around. It's fine. It's fine that you like him. There's no knock. No knock, David. I just I was really let down because I saw some potential for greatness. Alex says, I think R-rated comedies are already making a comeback. No Hard Feelings, Joyride, Bottoms, all from last year. That's what I'm saying. No Hard Feelings, but here's the thing, Alex. These movies didn't do well. I don't think any of them did well. Joyride bombed. Bottoms, I'm not sure. No Hard Feelings, I don't think did very well either. Anyone But You might have been rated R. That's like safe cookie cutter bullshit, R-rated stuff though. But whatever. Yeah, your point is my point. And so I agree. Dean says, I think your spoiler review of Godzilla X Kong is the best thing you've put out in years. But I think your best video is the one when you went fishing with your family and you got a ticket. Was that deleted? The opener fishing DNR story. Dane, it's not deleted. Well, I'm so happy you brought that up. Dane, did you know that there are 300 plus exclusive videos from my second channel that are only accessible via the Adam Vault? For $1, you can get access to those via patreon.com/AdamDoesMovies or right here on YouTube via the join button. Although I will say, Patreon's a way better value for anybody listening that might be a YouTube join member because you get vlogs every month. If you're at the $10 tier, $20 tier, or $30, you get multiple vlogs. If you're at the 30, you get all three. Plus, you get playlists that have all of those secret videos for you. The reason I did this was because no one was really watching my old channel. YouTube was not promoting it, and I wasn't putting content out. So it was dead for multiple years. And I thought I have to have some reason for people to sign up for Patreon to support me outside of just good job, Adam, keep going, which that should be the main reason. But I wanted to give them something else, something extra. So all those videos are there. It's my Adam Rants Issues videos. There are E3 parody videos. There are like short movies that I've made, Movie Boss, a whole bunch. The Cringe, there's like 70 episodes of The Cringe over there on a playlist. A lot of shit. And then there's one-off reviews that people might not have seen because they were Patreon requests that were so obscure. Instead of making them live, I made them private because I didn't want to hurt my channel's growth. And the algorithm's a very fickle beast. It's a fickle bitch. If you put out a video that gets like no traction, YouTube's going to look at that and go, people don't like this guy very much. Let's stop recommending him as much. It's not a good situation, people. But Patreon is a good situation. So there you have it. And Dane, that video is very much in there, along with a whole bunch of other ones. Now, since we're doing some sleazy self-promotion, I will also say that private second channel, Adam Olinger, is rebranded as of, I guess, 2 months ago, maybe a month ago, a phoenix reborn from the ashes as Adam Rants. No, Adam Does Rants. We have Adam Does Movies here and Adam Does Rants over there. Also on YouTube. And all new videos are accessible for everyone. It's public. So even though there are a bunch of secret private videos, there are new public ones going out every single week. And they're very funny. I'm proud of them. I hope you become a member over there. Just subscribe. It's free. It's free of charge. And it is possible, mind you, that I will recreate or complete. I mean, it wouldn't be a remake. It would be a redo of sorts. Some of those old stories that I think I could tell better. So the DNR one, the fishing one, could possibly be on the table at some point. Not in the distant future, but at some point it could happen. Looking for questions. Let me make sure I got all the super chat ones before I comb down the list. Mr. Mecha G says, Adam, please don't move. I love being your neighbor. Well, I'm moving just a few blocks away, so we'll still be neighbors, whoever. I don't know who Mr. Mecha G is. I don't I don't know the real person behind that moniker. Kyle, are you still going to kids' movies now that your kids aren't going with you anymore? Like, why go to Garfield if you know it's going to be trash? Let me take a drink of water. For the same reason I go to 85% of movies now that I think are going to be trash. I don't know definitively that anything's going to be trash. I like to go in hoping to have my mind changed or to be impressed outright. Garfield, all I knew was Chris Pratt was voicing him, which was a huge red flag. And I saw one small teaser trailer. So I really didn't know much about it. I had an inkling it was going to be bad. I didn't know Sony was the ones behind this film, or I would have known 100% it was going to be trash. But I'm going to it. I'm going to see it. Now, your point, Kyle, is fair. Not so much because of the kids thing. I've been going to animated films ever since I was in ever. I never stopped. My wife and I like going to animated movies. Some of them are my favorites of all time. So I don't know. I appreciate the medium. I have a background in animation, so I appreciate it from that aspect as well. But I like to give movies the benefit of the doubt, I guess, at the end of the day. And I'm a movie critic, so I want to review as much as I can that's at least in the mainstream, because trying to grow the channel and all that as well. I will say animated videos don't usually do as well on this channel. So I was hesitant about actually going to Garfield. I almost didn't, because there was that inkling that it was going to be hot trash. And I really don't like sitting there for an hour and a half wasting my time. Actually, 2 hours with trailers. And during Garfield, at the 40-minute mark, maybe even earlier, I thought about just walking out and thinking, I have enough material here. I can do a review on this. I don't need to see this whole shitty movie. But I did. I sat through it all. I pushed through because I did want to make sure that I'm reviewing it. I want to let parents know if there's anything scary, if there's anything deemed inappropriate, maybe in the eyes of a Karen who's going to clutch her pearls. And so I'm able to be more informed about the movie. And so there you have it. Ultimately, though, to put a cherry on top of this Sunday, it comes down to what my audience wants me to talk about and what I see is working on the channel. And so if I put out a bunch of animated reviews in a row and they're all kind of just not doing much, that message received, people don't give a shit. They don't want me to talk about it. Which is, again, that's how this game works. Jennifer Lopez again. I joked. I put out a 25-minute spoiler review on shitty Atlas on Netflix. I would never do a video like that unless there was reason to at that point. I didn't do a spoiler video on Furiosa. Why? Because that movie, that review didn't do that great. I didn't put out a spoiler review on The Fall Guy. Why? Because that did worse. And I don't have anything really to say about it. I would absolutely not have done a spoiler video on Atlas, but that video review did very well. For some reason, all the JLo videos do well. So yeah, of course, I'm going to go where the audience is dictating. Now that doesn't mean I'm just gonna like fall over backwards for them, but I think it makes sense to do 1 or 2 videos on a topic. To go the other direction, I don't sell out on it either. That I did a video months ago about how Chris Stuckman and some other critics seem to be shying away from doing negative reviews. And holy crap, that got a lot of views on it. Ton of views compared to my other videos. If I wanted to double or triple down, I easily could have made a bunch of like quick subscribers, get a little bit of cheap money off of that. But that felt dirty. That felt it wasn't in good taste. And I didn't even make the original video to bash on the guy. I don't care about Chris Stuckman. And so that's just kind of the little delicate dance you do with this stuff. To make a short question long. Perm for $5. Thank you, Perm. Are you going to miss your neighbor's blue flapping trash flag? It's still there. It's still there. My kids think I'm insane because I am. Like, Dad, why do you care? It's not that deep. And my kids, it's just so obnoxious. It's this bright blue fucking bag that sticks out like a sore thumb off the side of these white houses. It's just, look at me. I'm not going to miss the bag. It's definitely a perk to moving, Perm. Brian Davis, $2 says support Mecha G for tormenting Adam's soul. Michael for $1.99 says, are you happy on where you're at? Sorry, just asking. Are you happy on where you're at? I'm not sure what you mean by that. Like physically at my location right now in South Carolina, mentally, all of the above. I'm not like depressed. I'm a very positive person. I used to be a very negative person back in high school and college. I was a very negative person. I've changed in that sense. I'm still very much, a smart ass who jokes around and things, but I'm a glass half full type of individual now. And so even if the chips seem down or if life doesn't seem fair, I really do look at the world as a whole and go, holy shit, my life is so much better than a large majority of people. I had a leg up starting out just by having a family that was middle income. I don't take that stuff for granted. I really do appreciate all of it. So even if life seems a little hard, or if I have to downgrade my house to save up some money and be responsible, like that's such a non-issue. It's such a first world problem, which sometimes kind of annoys the shit out of me because I'll do a silly rant on my second channel, Adam Does Rants, where I'm talking about I don't know, like the amount of chicken I'm getting in a Chipotle bowl. Like I'm not really losing sleep over this stuff, but I'll get comments that will be like, "Wow, what an asshole, worrying about this while there's a war going on somewhere else." Like, yeah, I know. I'm just trying to make people laugh and have a good time, connect with them on a certain level, and not make everything so horrible doomsday all the time. We're just having a laugh at simple observational humor. It's not that deep, not that big of a deal. But yes, the long of the short is I am happy. My wife's in good health and spirits, that's number one. She's my best friend. So if she's happy, I'm happy. My kids are doing well. They're thriving. They have friends in the neighborhood. We have a nice community here. My family's all well off, like my mom, my brother. So yeah, it's all good. It's all good. Am I happy financially or with the YouTube channel? It's getting there. I'm super excited to see how much growth has happened this last year. Like in the last 4 or 5 months, it's been absolutely amazing seeing the subs go up and the people sticking around for more videos. So yes, it's good. Things are good. One more from Kyle Nelson for $1.99. Thank you, Kyle. Would you review Made in Manhattan with J-Lo? I joked on the video, this might be a J-Lo channel pretty soon if I just keep seeing these numbers. I don't see a reason to review old Jennifer Lawrence movies unless they are trending on Netflix or Hulu or whatever. If you see one of them in the top 10 on the streamer, I will definitely review it because that says, okay, the audience is out looking for it. It's going to show up in the algorithm. YouTube is pushing it. That's how this works. And that's why you see every movie review channel now talking about the same shit, because sadly, that's kind of how things are playing out. Okay, where are we going? Bishop Walters, Adam, have you watched John Wayne's movies? I've binge watching his movies lately, and he really has so many great ones. I think older movies are so much better than most movies from 15 years. I haven't seen a John Wayne movie since I was probably the age you are now, Bishop. I'm just guessing you're younger based on that photo. That's clearly you and not someone else. I, uh, I couldn't tell you many like John Wayne, Clint Eastwood old movies. It's been too long for me to really say, "Oh man, these were the times, man. These were the great golden years of cinema." They're probably pretty solid, but you all also have to go in with a mindset of, okay, this stuff's going to be very aged. It's going to be filmed a lot different. The acting's not going to be the same as you're familiar with today. It would almost be like watching a foreign film. You would really have to get in a certain mindset when you go into this. I honestly do that when I watch a lot of movies from even the 80s and 90s now. They're old. They're getting old. And I do think modern movies are missing magic for sure. The one-liners don't seem to be there anymore. The iconic, I guess, characters aren't quite there yet. I don't know if we have another Darth Vader or someone, the Koba mentioned earlier from Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. There's just not a lot of these iconic characters and new properties coming out of the woodwork that I can really latch onto like I could with older films that were so quotable and just so memorable from front to back. Anaconda is the best J-Lo flick. I agree. I fully agree. Actually, I think I said that in one of my. I think I said that in my "This Is Me" now review, and I stand by that. I like Anaconda. I like schlocky, monster of the week type movies. EJ Rich says or asks, "Do you think Ryan Reynolds has sold out?" I never really understood that term. I, I don't know what you mean, I guess, because Ryan Reynolds, like, how so? He's just a big name actor. He has been for quite some time. I think the end of the day is you do your job, you make a lot of money, and you live a happy life. And that's how these actors are. I don't think Ryan Reynolds was really ever doing it so much for the art itself. I think he was just trying to get jobs. Deadpool being the exception. He truly cared about Deadpool. He wanted that movie made and he did it. It took a long ass time and a lot of convincing, but he did it. And I have no problem with Ryan Reynolds. I have no problem with a lot of actors because I don't pay attention to them very much, which might be that could separate me from other movie critics that might go into more of the personal stuff. I actually don't know. I don't really watch any other YouTube critic channels. I know a lot of them, but I don't watch their stuff. I'm just friends with people. But yeah, I try to keep all that stuff separate because I think people in general are way too forthcoming. And I know that's ironic because I'm talking to you right now and sharing all this stuff about myself, but I keep a lot of it still close to the chest. But I think people are very open to a fault on social media, especially actors who years and years ago we didn't know who was in Scientology and who was drinking the blood of virgins and who was doing this and that and whatever wild crazy shit they're doing. But now we do know because it's all out there. And it turns out there's nothing really regal or magical about Hollywood actors and celebrities and elitists. They're all creepy weirdos too, just like a lot of the neighbors we have, especially the one with that blue bag. So Ryan Reynolds sell out. I mean, I think he's built up a nice nest egg for the next generations of little Reynolds people that go around, just like Dwayne Johnson and Chris Pratt and all these other actors out there. They're just getting there as while they can because there is a age. There's definitely an age limit before you expire in Hollywood. Adam, I also follow you on Letterboxd. I love your reviews there too. Do I have any? I think I might have had two or three, but I appreciate that. Thank you. I'm so bad at Letterboxd. I got to get back on and update probably a year's worth of content. Alex asked, "Do you buy Blu-rays?" No, I used to. I have, a collection. I just went over them last week or whatever on some stupid TikTok live video that I attempted. I have them all boxed up actually for the move. There's not a lot. I've never had a super impressive collection of DVDs or Blu-rays. I just like watching movies, not necessarily collecting them. I have a bunch, but I think everyone kind of does or did. I buy stuff on Prime once in a while digitally, but now I don't even do that because stuff just comes out so soon. And you can typically find it on one of the 15 streaming apps that I pay for some reason. That's just sadly where life is. Ninja says, "You don't watch the famous Tony from Hack the Living Dead and Dark Knight Rises?" I've seen some of Hack the Movie's content, but no, I don't regularly watch Tony. Tony's videos are too long. They're like 2 hours, 3 hours. I don't have time for that shit. I got two jobs. This is my second job. Vanilla Manila says, "Hello, Adam. I was just wondering if you've ever been to Ohio. I have passed through Ohio several times, but I can't say I've ever been. I've never just stopped and smelled the corn, so to speak." Mister, don't talk about my blue bag. You're not him. Ledger says, "What's your least favorite James Bond film?" Don't say Quantum of Solace or Spectre. Well, don't tell me what to do. It's not Quantum of Solace. I think it is Spectre. I think it is Spectre because I don't remember. What was the Pierce Brosnan one where he was ice skating on the CG water? That one was terrible. I think Madonna was in that one. I don't remember the names of these movies. That one was pretty awful. I'm sure there's older ones that are horrible, but I don't remember the James Bond movies. I'm not a big James Bond guy. I'm a Mission Impossible guy. Take a little drink here. We're probably going to wrap up it's already getting pretty late. We're going to wrap up in about 10 minutes or so. So if you want a question read, please super chat it. I'll make sure to get to it. And again, I don't know if we'll be going live next Tuesday. I don't actually know how the hell this is going to work with the new studio. The new place is substantially smaller, and I don't know if I'll have a dedicated room. We're going to have to figure some things out. I might not be streaming for a while. We'll see. We will see. Okay, the Matt's channel. Can you recall the worst argument made towards you on YouTube? I think the worst argument I get that comes up still is just it's such a lazy argument. Someone actually just said it today. They say you're paid if you like something that they don't like. And that's just so stupid and lazy. First off, I'm not a huge YouTube channel. No one's gonna pay me to endorse a video. Warner Brothers isn't gonna reach out and go, "Oh, Adam does movies. His channel averages like 5,000 views. We got to pay him a bunch of money to endorse this new film." No one cares. No one cares about my channel, so they're not gonna pay me. It's such a silly thing to say. And I think a lot of it's bad faith. They don't actually think that movie critics are paid off to the degree of me, but it's still a douchey comment. It still kind of annoys me. Like, really? So I didn't like a movie you liked. That means I'm paid off. What would you like me to like? That's the other thing is, of course, I put out a lot of reviews. I see a lot of movies. And so there's going to be more negative commentary on the channel just because of the sheer volume of movies I see. I don't think it's changed that significantly much as far as bad versus good, in my opinion. Although I think this year has been pretty rough for movies. But overall, every year there's a bunch of bad movies made. It's just people avoid them and don't watch them. Well, I'm watching a lot of those movies now just to tell people whether or not it's actually good. And so if I put out 4 movies that I don't really like, and then I put out one I really like or actually enjoy, and the person on there is like, this movie sucked. How could you like this? Blah, 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 blah. Well, what am I supposed to like? At some point, I have to enjoy something. Otherwise, what are we doing here? So it's just funny because if I were to base my opinions on what the commenters said, I would hate everything. There would be no movie to like. Oh, wild. Yeah, I hate that. That's just such a silly argument. I lost my spot. Okay. Adam, can you do a little dance for us before you go? Sure. I do the Adam Dick dance, but I'm going to wait for the coveted 100,000 mark. I haven't forgot about the Adam Dick dance. It's still very much locked in my mind. Ledger Forever says, hit that like button and subscribe to Adam Does Movies. I think that's a triple exclamation mark. So he's serious, folks. Do it. Like and subscribe if you haven't. Adam, what movie universe do you want to live in? Ooh. That is a good question. Definitely not The Matrix. That's a 100% no-go for me. The MCU is a shit show. It's hard to even like parse what universe that would be at this point. The DCEU would just be darks and like muted color palettes. It'd be fun to live, I think it'd be fun to live in like the Disney universe. I don't know if that's just one cohesive thing or if I would have to break that down even further. But being in a cartoon fairy tale like world with a bunch of whimsical characters and fun, creative, evil villains, that would be a good time because at the end of the day, the white dude always lives. He always lives to tell another tale. So I'll be just fine. And I'll have a nice, hot looking princess by my side. So yeah, I'd go with the Disney universe. That'd be good. Okay, a couple more super chats to round out the night. Get them in while they're hot. Oh, and I just realized the Adam Dick dance probably is not well known with the new audience. If you want to know what that's referring to, go watch either of my emoji videos. I reviewed Emoji and I ranted about the Emoji movie. I think those are available on this channel. I'm pretty sure they are. But yeah, essentially in the Emoji movie, they did this stupid emoji dance. It was called the Emoji Dance. It was really dumb. And so I was like, oh, I guess we're just making up stupid ass dances. Well, here's one. It's the Adam Dick dance. And I was basically like doing these inappropriate things like, this is the fire starter. This is the pepper grinder. And yeah, it was just me fictitiously playing with myself in a dancing fashion. Super appropriate, super mature. This channel is called Adam Does Movies. You know what you're getting. Kyle Nelson for $4.99. Who do you know personally that has terrible taste in movies? My coworker has some bad takes of movies. Not to throw my co-host under the bus, but we're going to go back in the Wayback Machine to 2000 and what year are we in? 24, 2014, 2012, I think, is when we uploaded our first video to YouTube. And then we would go months and months and a year in between some of that content. But my old co-host Corey, who I started the channel with, the reason the channel was founded was because he and I had such polar opposite takes on movies that we wanted to debate about them on YouTube. That was the idea I brought to him. I said, hey, why don't we be like a modern Siskel and Ebert in the digital space? And thus Movie Feuds was born, and we would debate on different movies. Sometimes it'd be contentious. Sometimes off camera, we'd get a little bit of a heated debate over whether something's good or not, but it was always a fun time. But yeah, Corey and I, we did not see eye to eye always. I wouldn't say he had, and I wouldn't say terrible taste. Actually, you know what? My, if you want to talk about terrible taste, I'll just say I have some relatives that have the worst taste in movies. We'll just leave it at that. Just awful taste in films. Everything I love, they think is stupid or long or boring, and everything they like is just the type of DVD you pull out of the bottom of a Walmart bin. Ninja for $4.99. Thank you, Ninja. Love the channel. Happy I found it through Hack the Movies. Also saw Meg 2 recently. It kind of sucks. It kind of does. It kind of does. Although, if you jump on the Adam Does Movies TikTok and find that Meg 2 video, you will be treated to literally hundreds, if not thousands at this point, of comments, all kind of saying the same thing, all kind of parodying, dude, it was good, bro, it's a good movie, bro, it's good, bro, it's good. Comically, all the same comments from random different people who I guess don't know how to not be redundant and have their own brains. They seem to like it. Mr. Flickster for $2. Thank you, Mr. Flickster. What's the weirdest Twitter insult you've gotten? The weirdest Twitter insult? Well, when Godzilla -1, when I reviewed that movie and got completely just shellacked by random different Godzilla fan clubs, there were some weird shit being said about me on Twitter. And I didn't even go down those rabbit holes, but I'm talking about hundreds of comments saying some really weird things. You know what? I'll take that back. The weirdest things I got were on The Sound of Freedom when I gave that pretty mediocre remarks. I didn't even outright like bash the movie. I just thought it wasn't done very well. Oh my God, the stuff people were saying, calling me a pedo, calling me just the grossest, meanest things you could say about a person. That was pretty disgusting, especially coming from this, tolerant religious base of people. They had no problems completely destroying some random stranger who did a 45-second out of theater reaction on Sound of Freedom and said things like, I think its heart was in the right place. It had a decent message, but just kind of like sloppily handled, too long, not that inspired. And that was it. That was basically it. And I think what I just said right now was harsher than I was in that video. But oh man, the stuff those guys said, whew, brutal. Unhinged. And the last one of the night, unless we get a couple final ones in here, is from Perm for $10. Thank you, Perm, from the top rope. My favorite movie is a tie between Back to the Future and The Matrix. Also, I may have rewatched The Fifth Element more than any other. Have you told us your favorite movie? I think I've said it several times, Perm, and I think you know it, but it's Jurassic Park. Jurassic Park hit me at just that right age, in just that right theater, with just that right audience. And it hit me hard. Steven Spielberg was a master. He still is. The effects were state of the art. Sound design was brilliant. The story was simple and effective. He took everything he learned from Jaws and he magnified it. Incredibly quotable film, incredibly memorable moments, great antagonists with the dinosaurs. it really was a blockbuster movie like no other for me as a child. Is it the greatest movie of all time? That's personal. It's subjective. It's probably not considered in the top 50 of all time, as far as I know. But to me, it's number one because a movie should be personalized. If it's your top 10, it should be personalized. You shouldn't be going through like IMDb's top 10s and saying, okay, I better put The Godfather on here. I better put Citizen Kane on here and Gone with the Wind. And, that's lame. And Jurassic Park is probably a lame pick, but it's an honest one. It's a truthful one. Fight Club was another one. I saw it as a teenager, angsty years of my life. It was profoundly different than anything I'd ever seen. I think David Fincher is a master of the art. I mean, I could go on and on about this forever, but yeah, the Matrix, Fight Club, Jurassic Park, these are all huge movies that hit me at emotional, impactful moments in my life. They sometimes carried me through some darker times in my life. And yeah, I think that everybody should have those types of movie experiences. Thank you, Perm. And I think that's a great way to wrap up the night. So we're gonna just, we're gonna pour one out for this studio. We're gonna bid it adieu. I don't know what the future is gonna bring or what the layout's gonna be. I would like to do something similar to this. It's gonna be challenging, but we'll make it work. We'll make it work. All right. Thank you guys for watching. Sorry about the shitty, choppy video quality. I just don't know what to say anymore. My internet provider sucks ass. That's what it all comes down to. Look for a couple more YouTube videos this week, though. I have one rant on the next channel, or on my other channel, Adam Does Rants. It's about working out at the health club and the types of riffraff you see over there. It's a bad situation. Over here, I have, I think, one more video coming out tomorrow. Still have to edit it. And that is my video on how Hollywood is scared to take chances on family movies anymore. We don't see a lot of them. And it sucks because I grew up with a lot of fun family films. I wish my kids could have something like that. And new generations, of course, as well. And we just lost video altogether. So that's a perfect time to close me out. All right. Thank you guys very much for all the super chats and the comments and for watching. And I'll see you soon.